Yesterday, the military dropped the largest non-nuclear bomb that we have in Afghanistan. Largest non-nuclear bomb. So its nickname is the mother of all bombs. Sounds pretty colossal if you ask me. It weighs about 21,000 pounds. It's so big that it has to be dropped out of the back of a cargo plane. You know, they can't just use a standard fighter jet because not good enough, not big enough. You got to drop it out of the back of a cargo plane. The blast radius for this bomb is 1 mile in every direction. This was just dropped yesterday. Just like, you know, little casual, nonchalant Thursday. What are you doing? I don't know. I'm going to grab a sandwich, maybe a soda, drop a near-nuclear bomb. The Pentagon says that they were trying to take out ISIS tunnels. I like how the establishment press loyally reported it as such. They were just stenographers to power. Virtually every single headline in every single outlet was like, in Afghanistan, ISIS targeted by U.S. bomb. Now, understand the way the press is supposed to work is fact-checking, holding the people in power accountable. So if the Pentagon says, or some general says, yeah, we were taking out ISIS with this move, you're supposed to go, oh, really? So do you have further evidence of that? Do you have information, data? Can you present something to me that is, you know, in fact, believable? That makes me go, oh, they're not just saying that. Because here's the deal, they're always going to tell you, oh, we only got the bad guys. That's what we always do. It's always the bad guys. In his first raid, he killed an 8-year-old American girl and 30 civilians. Recently in Mosul, 200 civilians. So they always say initially, yeah, we got a stronghold of ISIS or Al-Qaeda because we're great. It's what we are. It's what we do, man. We just get the bad guys. And then we learn that's not true. So what are they saying now? For the first, 6-7 hours or so after the bomb dropped, they said, oh, we don't have any casualty reports. We don't have any of that. We don't have that yet. And then they said, we got 36 ISIS guys. Again, same script. The initial report, you say, we got all bad guys. And then, 2 weeks later, when nobody's looking, you get, it starts in more fringe outlets, and then it leaks out more to the mainstream. But it's, yeah, did we say we got bad guys? We actually got civilians. So I don't trust them in any way. And I'll reserve judgment until I see more accurate numbers. I don't just believe the Pentagon and their talking points and our lapdog press, which acts as a stenographer for them. So they say they were trying to take out ISIS tunnels. Now, to the extent that that's true, guess who built those tunnels? That's right, the CIA in the 1980s to help the Mujahideen when the Mujahideen were fighting the big bad Soviet Union. We despised the godless communists so much that we armed and backed what eventually became Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. You had Osama bin Laden, who was described as a freedom fighter in Western media outlets. You have the Taliban meeting in the White House with Ronald Reagan. So, again, this is hilarious because it's the same thing like with Saddam Hussein. He's got some pretty bad weapons, so we got to go in there and attack him. Who gave him those weapons? It's weird. You left that part out. You were the ones who armed him, and now you're like, oh, I can't believe this guy has weapons. Same thing here. Build the tunnels, and let's help the Mujahideen. And, oh, God, years later, we got to take out the tunnels. The Mujahideen. I mean, what are we going to do? They're crazy jihadists over here. So about 95,000 human beings live near where the bomb was dropped. Now, they weren't, at least as far as we know, directly where the bomb was dropped. They're outside of the exact blast radius, but you feel the effects for miles and miles and miles in every direction when a bomb like this is dropped, needless to say. And we don't have reports yet on how many of those 95,000 people were affected in the sense that, hey, their windows were blown out. You go deaf if you're within a certain, distance from the epicenter of the bomb. So we don't have any information on that yet, but I assume in time some more will come out. And I'm sure more will come out about the so-called 36 ISIS people that we got. And so here's a fact that I find incredible. How many ISIS fighters are even in Afghanistan? Because, you could be forgiven if you thought, what do you even mean, ISIS in Afghanistan? I mean, there's ISIS in Syria, and there's ISIS in Iraq, but ISIS in Afghanistan, I'm not even sure I ever heard of that. Yeah, most people didn't. You want to know why? Because there's only 600 to 800 ISIS fighters in Afghanistan. Yeah, but where'd you get those numbers, Kyle? Code Pink? That's from the U.S. military. That's what they say. 600 to 800, and you dropped a near-nuclear weapon to destroy some tunnels that they maybe had. And by the way, what's going on there specifically in Afghanistan? What is ISIS doing in there, and who are they fighting, and where are the attacks centered? There's currently a war going on between ISIS and the Taliban. Yeah, you know what I call that? A problem that takes care of itself. Who doesn't want to see ISIS and the Taliban go at it? And who doesn't want to see them die in the process? Does that make me a dick? I don't think it makes me a dick, right? Because they are genuinely horrific people. So, but that's a perfect example of a place and time for us to go, would you look at that? It's time to get the fuck out of clock. I got shit I gotta do. But no, we decide, hey, we're going to go in there and we're going to bomb and we're going to drop a near-nuclear weapon to take out 600 to 800 people. What the fuck is this? Why not let them fight each other, and why wouldn't we mind our business? Look, I think there's something more to this story, which is I think they're trying to flex a little bit, and the U.S. is trying to send a message to various countries. But one of them, North Korea, we'll get to that story in a little bit, where we're trying to say, hey, we're not fucking around, son. You better listen to what we say. And of course, it's a stupid idea. Of course, this is the neocons having completely taken over Trump's bitch-ass White House. Mr. half the time on the campaign trail saying, we're not going to do nation building, no more stupid wars, we're not going to waste money overseas, we're going to rebuild here at home, we're going to do infrastructure, that's what we're going to do. Tremendous. All that's gone. Gone. It just took 1 or 2 meetings with a bunch of idiot neocons who can sound mildly persuasive for him to go, oh yes, I agree 100%. Do whatever you want. I told you, he cut out the middleman for the military-industrial complex. There used to be people who have, careers in government, in governmental positions, and they would take their marching orders from defense contractors, but there was at least a little bit of a, hey, it's got to go from point A to point B. What did Trump do? Fire the people in government and just bring in the defense contractors and hire them to be in your administration. That's what Trump did. So that's, neocon on steroids. Dick Cheney's somewhere beaten off to this. Donald Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, Bill Kristol. These guys, oh my God, John Bolton. I can't believe we're getting exactly what we want on every single front now. That's what it is. From attacking the Syrian government to escalating in Afghanistan to escalating in Iraq. 432% increase in drone strikes. Now they're escalating further with North Korea. They're really trying to do everything that they laid out in the Project for a New American Century. Wait for it, man. Iran, they're going to ramp up fears about Iran, and they're going to escalate, and they're going to come up with some bullshit about how, we got to do regime change there. Oh my God, look at what we found out. There's new information. Just like what they did with Assad with the chemical weapons. Oh, big bad Assad did a chemical weapons attack. We have to go in. We don't have a choice. Watch, that's all going to happen for Iran too. Give it time. Give it time. And so how much did this whole process cost too? I love how whenever the conversation is education or healthcare or anything for you, the people, they go, oh my God, it's too expensive. What are we going to do? It's a deficit debt. It's terrible. We can't spend money we don't have. What are you, crazy? We got to be smart about what we do with our funds. Not a single word in the mainstream media. Not a single word. Oh, hey, can we afford this? Well, so what was it? It was $16 million for the bomb, $314 million for production of the bomb. So we have nearly $500 million to spend to drop a near nuclear weapon in the middle of nowhere, Afghanistan, to maybe take out ISIS tunnels that we created, the CIA created for the Mujahideen, Meanwhile, ask the people in Flint, Michigan how they're doing. How's their water? How's that? How they feeling? Any neurological problems some people have there? Perpetual illness? Chronic illness? Is that a thing? Of course that's a thing. And it's not just Flint, by the way. There are many cities across America and towns that have polluted water as a result of fracking and other things. So I think maybe we should take care of that before we drop near nuclear weapons. How gratuitous is this? Yeah, we need one of the biggest bombs we have, the single biggest bomb we have in terms of conventional weapons. We need that. No, you don't. You don't need that. It's a waste of money, a waste of resources. You're not accomplishing anything with it. But again, you have 600 to 800 ISIS fighters in Afghanistan, and they're fighting the Taliban. Let them fight. What are we doing? The world is Trump's playground and the neocons' playground, and they just like pushing buttons and seeing shit blow up. And the disgusting reaction from people to this, man. There's so many people just callous indifference or weird conspiracy theories that, again, link back to Russia. He's just trying to deflect from the fact that he's Putin's puppet. It's like they're trying to come up with, the corporate Democrats want to argue against Trump, but they don't, like, the thing right in front of them that's like, hey, this is bad. They're like, no, let's, Russia, move that aside. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, he's trying to distract from how shitty his presidency is. But what makes his presidency shitty so far? The fact that he's doing stuff like that, that's the shitty thing. Hey, I just dropped a near nuclear bomb for no goddamn reason in the middle of Afghanistan. What the fuck? That's what you talk about. Like, no, Russia. So people are just callously indifferent or nonchalant about it, and then you got other people who are conspiracy-minded about it, and then you have Fox News. Fox News, I kid you not. I saw the clip right before I came on air here. On Fox and Friends, you had Geraldo Rivera and Brian Kilmeade and the rest of the bobbleheads saying, well, isn't this great? This is what freedom looks like. And Geraldo says, yeah, one of the things I love, following politics is watching bombs get dropped on bad guys. How childish are these people? How unserious are they in terms of research, in terms of critical thinking? Under Obama, we had 90% of the time, drones did not hit the intended target. 90% of the time! That is mental! Now, under Trump, he loosened the rules of engagement. We just covered it. He did it specifically in Somalia and North Africa. He said, you know what? We think we worry too much about civilian casualties. So, again, 432% increase in drone strikes. Have the civilian death rate shooting up even more under Donald Trump. We keep seeing the stories, 200 civilians dead in Mosul, 30 dead in, Yemen or Pakistan, in a raid, killed an 8-year-old girl. I mean, and all they have to say is, this is what freedom looks like when you drop a near-nuclear weapon for no reason when ISIS and the Taliban are fighting each other. That's what I call a win-win. What happened in non-intervention? What happened in spending our money here at home? Guys, this is sick, man.